Welcome back, folks, to another Unreal tutorial. In this tutorial we're going to be looking at how to create texturing in the landscape mode in Unreal, and how to apply the textures, a little bit of the mechanics, and yeah, so without further ado, let's get going. So you can see here, this is a landscape that I've created within Unreal. Now obviously it's not finished, but in here I've managed to kind of put in grass, dirt and rocks. So first of all, I'm going to hit F11. So I'm going to need to start another project. Now I'm assuming that people watching this, you've got a general kind of grasp on using Unreal. There are a plethora of different videos you can have a look at online, getting to grips with Unreal. So I do suggest that you watch that. I have actually done a video myself, but yeah, there are plenty of people who do that. So you'll need to start a new project. So this is where I'm just going to pause the video. I'm going to start a new project, and in the project, when you open project up, it's going to need to be a third person. You'll click on that. Might take a little bit of a while to upload. When it does, you can rejoin me for that next part. Okay, folks, welcome back, and we are now in the new project. So it should be the third person project. As you can see here, I'm just going to increase the speed of the camera there, just so we can get more of a, there we go, just sort of more view all the way around. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to this little symbol here that says landscape. We're going to click on that, and it'll bring up this grid. Now this is a default size, however, this is partly to do with my computer. It can't handle texturing something of that size, so I'm going to scale it down. Now you may have a very nice computer, and in which case that's great, you can stay at that size, but I'm going to scale this down. And to be honest, you probably want something that's fairly kind of small and manageable, at least for the time being. So I'm going to go on about 15 by 15 quad. I think that's perfectly fine as it is. You don't need to touch any of the rest of it. Now, of course, this will work with a height map. And of course you can do that by, if you wanted to, go to import file and import height map, but we're just going to stay with the create new for the time being. Go create, and then you'll see it goes into sort of black and white, black and grey, sorry, checkerboard, and you can start playing around by sculpting it. So say for example, if I come up here to the sculpt tool there and go into sculpt, and then we can have a go at sculpting our environment. So I'll just increase the size of this window. I'm going to take the brush size down a little bit, and you can play around with the strength here. So I'm assuming that most of us are fairly familiar with Unreal Engine. You'll see here there's a whole bunch of tools that you can kind of use for this. I'm just going to do something fairly kind of basic for the time being. So this is the sculpt tool, and it will give you some hills. Take the strength up, like so. Now I'm going to sort of concentrate really on the front, but by all means, you can go around and do, if you want to, do a little bit around here. Maybe just take the strength up a little bit. Maybe take the size of the brush up a little bit, and we can. Whoa! Well, I tell you what, let's keep it as that, because we can always flatten it. We'll make some kind of larger hills around the edges there. that's all looking okay so far. And a bit on the side there. And then if you want, you can go through to the sculpt tool and go to, say, flatten. What flatten will do is exactly that. It'll basically just, will actually sort of bring it up to a certain kind of level. Now I might just take the size of the brush down a little bit and look at some of these other areas. Something like that. And just sort of dampen these down a little bit. I didn't really want points there, so that's all looking alright. And then I go back to sculpt, take the size of the brush down, and maybe just have a little bit of a play around here. So just something like this, yeah, nothing too wild. By all means, have a play around with some of the other functions. So you've got things like erosion. Now it is low poly, so the results you're going to get aren't going to necessarily be sort of spectacular, but it'll kind of deform the landscape in a way to simulate kind of erosion through weather and things like that. But again, you're not going to get massive detail. And just take that around there. And let's have a look. I might just put another hill up over here. Take the brush size up. It's a little bit steep. Go back to flatten. Something like that. I don't know. And then go back to sculpt. Take the size of the brush down. Maybe then flatten this down. Just a little bit too much. Alright, so something like that. Okay, we can go with that. So that takes us to the next stage, which is where we're going to get into looking at materials and how we're going to start creating our different materials or different diffuse and normals for our textures, and that's going to be in the next part. Okay, so now we've got the sculpting out of the way, we're going to now go into content browser. We're going to right click in the content browser and we're going to create a material. We'll call this landscape. I'm going to double click on this. Okay, so there we've got our base color, metallic, specular, roughness, emissive color, normal, world position offset, and ambient occlusion and pixel depth offset. So we're going to right click now in the space here. I'm going to type in landscape. Layer blend. And then what we're going to do with this, we're going to add some elements to this. And if you look on the left here, we're going to click on this cross here 3 times. And we'll just drop these down, just so we can get a better look. Okay, so we're going to name this first layer rock. We're going to name this next layer dirt. And then the last layer we're going to name grass. Also, we're going to change where it says blend type. We're going to change these. We're going to change it to height blend. To change each one like so. And then we're going to go to where it says preview weight, and on the grass layer we're going to give that 1. On the dirt we're going to make that 0.5, and then we're going to leave the top one at 0. And then you can see on the right hand side here we've got the corresponding layer rock, height rock, layer dirt, height dirt, layer grass, height grass. Next we're going to need landscape layer coordinates. We're going to right click, type in landscape, click on there, landscape layer coordinates. Okay, so looking good. So the next thing we need to do is we need to bring in some textures. So I'm just going to move these over. So we're going to be putting our textures somewhere around about here. So I'm going to move this to one side. So we're going to need grass, we're going to need dirt, and we're going to need rocks. I'm going to go through to where content is, and we're going to go on to starter content and textures. Double click on that. So first of all we need the rock, so we're going to click on the filters there. Right, type in rock. We've got a fair range to kind of choose from. I'm going to choose T rock basalt D. Click and hold that, drag it in there like so. Next, we'll choose gravel. There we are. And click and drag that in there like so. And then last, we're going to type in grass. See there, I'm going to drag that texture in like so. Okay, looking good. So next what we're going to do is we're going to connect up the landscape coordinates to the UVs with these textures, like so. And then what we're going to do is we're going to connect up the RGB and the alpha to the layer blend. So we're going to click on RGB, connect that to the layer rock, alpha, we're going to connect up to the height. And then we're going to take this layer blend and plug it into base color, like so. There we go, looking good. Now, if I just bring this down, you can see there now we've got the ball. Although it does look a little bit ordinary, you can see the grass on there. It's a fairly ordinary sort of texture. There's no real definition on that. So what we're going to do next is we're going to add some normals. So next what we're going to do is we're going to add the normals. So we're going to copy these landscape coordinates and layer blend by control and click on this like so, and then control and W to select them both. Okay, I'm going to drag that down here. So this is where we're going to start hooking up our normals. So like before, we're going to go over to the content browser. Now we're already on the textures there. So we've got grass that's already there. Let's just drag that in. See as though it's just available. Like so. And next, we want this next texture sample, which is the gravel. Click and hold on and drag that normal in. So that's all good. Like so. And then finally, with the rock, We dragged in before the T-Rock Basel D, T-Rock Basel N for the normal. Drag that in there like so. So there we are. Alright, so we should start to see some difference going on now. So I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. So like before, if you look on the above, we're basically going to hook it up like before, and then finally we're going to hook up the label end, we're going to put it into the normal. And finally we'll hook it up to the normal. You should start to see a difference. So I can start to see, you can see some texture in there, however it is a little bit small. So we'll click apply and save. So next you can see there it's a little bit kind of plain. So we can add some other things in. We can add a constant in here, so we go right click and constant. And we can add something for the roughness. And something for metallic. Now we can play around with the values here, say with metallic, and again it's your call depending on what you're going after. You can see there it's already got a bit of a sort of shine on it. So for example, if you wanted to say change that to 2, you start to see it now. It's kind of got more of a sort of metallic look about it, and it just depends what you're going for. Yeah. We'll take that back to 0. And for the roughness, what we'll do is we will change that. We'll take that to about 0.7. Okay, so it's giving a bit more, if you can see there, it's a bit more detail. So it's not entirely flat, it's just got a slight kind of sheen on it. And then lastly, what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at the landscape coordinates. Now, at the moment we've kind of got like a fairly kind of, it's quite small in terms of texture, so we're going to look to increase these. So you're going to go select, control select, and down to where it says mapping scale. I'm going to change that to say, I don't know, 6. Panning U, mapping panning U to about 6, and mapping panning V to about 6. Enter. There. So it's got a bit more of a sort of expanded detail there. So think about this is going to be going onto the landscape, so that's probably a little bit more like what we want. And that's about it. We're going to click apply and save. We're going to bring this window down now. And then we're going to come over here to the right, and we want to find our landscape, which is here. And then if we just scroll down, we'll be able to see in landscape we've got these inputs here. If I just bring that in, and where it says landscape material, we want to go back to our texture that we created. Just click off rock there. So content, third person VP, and we'll find our landscape there. We're going to click and hold and drag it over to landscape material and drop. Let's give that a while to compile. And then we're going to go through to paint tool, and this is where we're going to start to put our textures. So I'm just going to, at the moment it looks black, that's absolutely fine. What we're going to do next is, where it says rock and dirt and grass, there's a little plus sign there, across. I'm going to change that to weight blended layer normal, and do that, click OK. Do that for all the rest of the materials. So click weight blended layer, normal, click OK, and finally on the grass, weight blended layer, click OK, just let the shaders compile. Okay, so once we've done that, we're going to just have a look and have a walk around and just see what this environment looks like. So I'm going to go over to the cube symbol here, and I'm going to click on, say, which one of these walls? This one here, over here. Click delete. Okay, let's go and have a play. F11. Right. Let's go and explore our new territory. So, all looks pretty good. Textures look good. Seems like actually a very good size. Seems about right. And probably not going to be able to jump up here, but anyway. Just have a look around. So it actually looks pretty impressive. Okay, let's have a look at applying some of these other textures to our environment. So we've got the rock as the kind of base layer. Right, let's try and start applying some dirt. So I'm going to select the dirt, change the brush size down, take the tool strength down to start off with, and the brush size down as well. And if this is going to be our bedrock, then I'm going to start painting in some of this dirt. Now you may find with yours you get the checker. So basically, once you select the texture, it's going to have to compile the shaders for it, which is perfectly fine. I don't have the best computer in the world, I have to say. But basically, you can just start painting it. You can see the bits of rock. Now it's a little bit strong, so I'm probably just going to take the strength of the tool down like so and just kind of phase that in a little bit like so, and you can basically just spend this time just to work your way around your model. Okay, so we've got pretty much most of this kind of painted. Of course, you know, we could go on, but it's just to have a look and just see what it looks like. Not looking too bad. Obviously, this is a just a basic landscape. You know, this we don't have any foliage in here, where we've not tried playing around with some of the lighting. But the grass is all kind of looking okay. Just as a start, and then looking at the ground. I think the kind of rock and the dirt kind of look the most impressive at the moment. I think the grass on the surface of it is kind of like, obviously we kind of need some kind of foliage in there. You know, it's okay as a kind of base, but we need some foliage in there. But you know, pretty impressive. Okay, and that is pretty much it. I did want to do another quick video on just looking at playing around with the skylight and playing around with the colours, and in particular I wanted to just explore a very cool little tool called, well, it's referred to as the God Rays, that you can sort of create basically light beams in the environment. So we're going to have a bit of a play around on that in the next video, but for the most part that is pretty much it for this. So thanks for watching, folks, and yeah, stay tuned and I'll see you in the next video. Okay, thanks very much. Bye for now.